relatives, welcome to the shared experience. My name is Raven, and today I'd like to share some downloads with you. So, I am a little under the weather, so you'll probably hear me wheeze or cough or clear my throat. So, my apologies if that is too much for anybody. But I'm feeling called to share some important messages, and I feel that these messages have come directly from a divine feminine source. So, as a United States citizen in an election year, I feel like things are just intense in the United States for a lot of reasons. There's racial tension, there's systemic tension, there's criminal justice tension, there's equality and fairness tension, there's masculine and feminine tension. And what I've been channeling has more to do with healing of the divine feminine. And it's not to say that feminines need healing at all, but it's to say that there's been a lot of wounding to feminines. It seems that for a long time, at least hundreds, if not thousands, if not more years, feminines have almost been martyrs in a sense, victims, almost declassified or insignificant, unappreciated. I'm not sure, you kind of get where I'm going with this, but sorry. So, how this came to me was related to the eclipse. It felt like the eclipse for me was intense, as it probably was for a lot of people. Even though I didn't necessarily watch the eclipse, I'm still experiencing the energy from the eclipse because I am tapped into what's happening in the world. I track the moon, I track the sun, so, naturally I'm a little more inclined to experience those energies. So, I feel like the eclipse has a little bit to do with healing the divine feminine energy. And in some sense, it's also an empowering experience for the divine feminine. I think part of this came to me through my own grief for my mom. She's been gone a little over a year. Since February, it's been a year. And we're coming up into Mother's Day season. And I think I've just been in a low place in my life. And I felt like when my mom passed, it was probably one of the lowest places I've ever been in, like mentally or emotionally. And so I think I've been realizing that my mom really was my biggest fan. And she would always reassure me or encourage me to not let things get me down or affect me, in an intense way, because I am in general an emotionally responsive person. How about that? So I've just been feeling lonely, and been missing her and her voice and just her encouragement. But I'm realizing that Mother's Day is coming up and it's probably just creeping in. And maybe it is her spirit trying to remind me that, she's okay and that I'm going to be okay as well. So I think, with the eclipse, I kind of gained a new understanding and a new respect for what's happening during that time. And for me, it feels like it is a sacred moment between the sun and the moon. And I feel like it's a very passionate and intense moment, and it probably shouldn't be observed all the time, even though it was observed by millions of people. And obviously, it's like something that you want to watch, even though you know you shouldn't be watching it. So it's that kind of feeling. But along with that came just some insight as to, I'm not sure, so basically what it came down to was I realized that there really is no scientific evidence that proves uh, the man came first in humanity. There is no evidence that shows men came first. And I don't know if this has dawned on everyone else or if anybody thinks about this kind of stuff, but I certainly do. Not that I'm like a super science nerd, but I do love science. I'm interested in it. I'm interested in a lot of things about the body. I was a nurse for 10 years, and, that sticks with you. So I'm realizing that, we hold women up to these certain standards or expectations or roles, and I'm just wondering where these roles came from. You know, like for some of us, we have moms who we would say are caring, nurturing, understanding, unconditionally loving, that kind of stuff. Typical mom role, right? Self-sacrificing. And I just feel like there's such an underappreciation for moms in general. So I have the unique experience of being adopted. And, I think I've just been really reflecting on that lately, because I was talking to my aunt a little bit about my birth mother and just the kind of person she was, and you know, what if she would have been able to take care of me kind of thing, but not really, because it just wasn't possible. But I was trying to figure out why I don't really have an emotional connection to her, really. I don't have an emotional connection to it. But the result of being adopted gave me a lot of insecurity, right? Just not feeling good enough, or always feeling like somebody's gonna leave me, or I don't know, typical abandonment issues. And I feel like I've finally been able to overcome a lot of that. But I've just been thinking, like, why is it that we put so much responsibility on the mother all the time? Why don't we just love her and accept her for the gift of life that she gives? You know, like, why can't she just be on a pedestal just for that miracle alone? Because in my mind, I feel like without mothers, none of us would be here, right? Like, our ancestry can literally be traced back to the first woman by our mother's DNA. Not the father's DNA, our feminine, our mother's DNA can be literally traced back to the first woman. I don't know. For me, that just seems extremely significant, and I feel like no one else is really thinking of it that way. Um, excuse me, sorry. I know it doesn't sound good, but it's what I gotta deal with. Um, so obviously, I'm trying to work on not developing emotional connection with my deceased mother. Like, both of my mothers are deceased at this point, but I guess because I'm such a reflective person, I have been trying to figure out like why I didn't have more of an emotional connection to my mother and why I don't really feel that emotional connection to my birth mother. So, long story short, my aunt was like, your mom really wasn't herself at the time, and she really did love you, and she wanted to take care of you, but she just couldn't get it together, and her mental health was struggling, and what have you. And so I was like, yeah, Auntie, I don't really think about it anymore because I've accepted that I grew up how I was supposed to. Like, I accept that I was taken in by my aunt and uncle, and I was raised to be a native woman, and I had no idea that they weren't my actual parents. So, anyway, um, I think I've just been realizing that I put these expectations on my birth mother, that she should have been nurturing and caring and loving and supportive and all these things. And I think, like, I was like, why did I do that? Because I know how difficult it is to be a mom, because I've been a mom since I was 17 years old, basically. And, we put so much responsibility on the mother. And I think I got triggered by this because of, like, the states changing their laws about reproductive rights, abortion rights, like that sort of thing. And it's not to say that I'm for or against abortion. I mean, I'm for or against the woman making a choice for herself without the government or without a man's patriarchal views on what and how and when a woman should have access to healthcare. So I just went down this rabbit hole, of like genetics, and I'm just like, really, why are we disrespecting women? Why are we being so disrespectful to women? Why have we for thousands of years been disrespecting women, and not everybody, right? Not all cultures disrespect women. Not all people disrespect women, no. But culturally, in the United States, many women are subjected to a man's beliefs or a man's views. And I think I was just like, I don't think women really realize how powerful they are. And why don't we? You know? Like, women can give life. We are the only gender that can give life. Okay? That should be enough. Like, even the responsibility of taking care of a child for 18 years is huge. So, how can we just demand that if a woman gets pregnant after one time of either consensual, non consensual, whatever, whatever we want to call it, any situation, that she can't even have the right to make the decision on if she is going to take care of this child for the next take care of, influence this child, have experiences with this child, good experiences, bad experiences, ugly experience. Like, how are we gonna take that right away when we know daggone well being a mom is, one, a difficult job. Telling somebody when they should be a mom, not okay. Okay? Like, I just don't see how the government, the government can tell a human being what they can and can't do with their body, when they can and can't access health care. And see, so then this also brought me to, like, not that I feel like the divine feminine is dwindling, but I feel like the divine feminine is changing. And I feel like the eclipse was part of the healing that needed to occur to empower more women to stand up for themselves collectively. Like, none of this separation, none of this, oh, you're over there and I'm over here. No, all women are equal. No women should be subjected to the opinions of any government about their own bodies as life givers, as water carriers, as moon goddesses. Okay? Like, we are directly connected to the moon, the celestial light body in the nocturnal sky. I'm confused. I'm confused. Like, I definitely have seen a lot of things occur with feminines throughout the last 4 or 5 years. Like, I feel like, in some sense, like, yes, women are empowered, but they're also objectified. They're also, I don't know, like, obviously I get, like, all of us have a life and we have to go through different experiences, but at the same time, I think, like, women need to come together and support each other and understand that we cannot continue to allow organizations, institutions, governments to tell us what we can and can't do with our bodies, regardless of political stance, right? Like, basically, that's what this is. This is a political stance against women. So I just want us to try to release ourselves from the so called roles and expectations that we have had placed on us by people who perhaps don't have our best interest at heart. And so I'm just looking at my notes and like what I wrote down. Um, I think we just need to remove this list of expectations that women have had placed on them by others. And I think women should feel more empowered about their place in the world. And women need to support other women and not just be out to get somebody. You know, we just all need to respect each other and like honor each other because we are amazing and we are powerful and we are so much more than these roles or these expectations that people have placed on us. And we are the life givers, we are the life keepers. We, without us, there would be no one else. Like, literally, like, I don't know why it's so hard to understand. Like, without women, there would be no humans. Let that sink in. Without women, there would be no other humans. So, the time is now, women. The time is now. It's time to rise. It's time for us to take back our power, take back our respect, honor ourselves, and not allow anyone to tell us what we can and can't do with our bodies, how and what we should be living up to for expectations, or when, where, and how we should be raising our children, producing our children, or anything of that sort. So I just want to take a moment to recognize how amazing, wonderful, and beautiful women are, and how we need to come together, stand in our power, and not allow these organizations or institutions to tell us what we should be doing with our lives, with our bodies, and with ourselves. And so, if you can at all relate to what I'm saying, please give me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the state of the divine feminine. Let me know if you can at all understand what I'm feeling just by going through the motions of grief, going through self-reflection, and just, you know, trying to obtain an understanding for what is happening exactly in the world as far as the feminine goes. I just feel like we're amazing beings and we're just not getting the respect that we deserve. And so this is for masculines too. If you have a woman in your life that you love, start treating her with more respect. Okay? Start honoring her for the miraculous being that she is. Okay? If you are a child of a divine feminine, which you are, we all are, start honoring her and her experience because it's been so long of this unjust, unfair treatment. And to see us go backwards is even more salt in the wound, you know? So think about it, okay? Think about how amazing and miraculous the divine feminine is, and think about ways that you can help uplift her and honor your own divine feminine in yourself, because the divine feminine is in all of us. Okay? The divine feminine is in all of us. Without the X, there is nothing. Okay? Without the X, there is nothing. So please consider your views, your opinions, how you vote, how you handle situations with other women, how you show respect and gratitude for the earth, for the moon, for the sky, for your loved ones. Thank you for listening.